CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Najahe Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
And taking a live look outside, it is a beautiful day, but we are tracking changes on the way. Let's get right to Next Weather meteorologist Cindy Pressler. What should we expect?
Lots of big changes. 3 big weather changes coming up in the next few days. We've been waiting on this front that is still sitting to the south, stationary, not moving, right across the Keys at this point. We still have that upper level westerly flow, so the clouds are streaming in. And now we have an invest out here in the Gulf of Mexico that the Hurricane Center is watching. This is going to combine with the frontal system and bring a lot of rain to the state of Florida, not necessarily South Florida, but Florida is going to pick up a lot of rain from that. But as of right now, there aren't even any showers out there today, but temperatures quite warm. Right now it is 90 degrees, and that's the high temperature, at least so far this afternoon. 89 in Homestead, Fort Lauderdale, 88 degrees. We've got partly sunny skies, but it feels like it's 97 because we have more moisture starting to move in here from the south. And let's put this ahead for you. We could see a little spot shower yet this afternoon into the evening, but really that's about it. We're waiting on that front to start moving north, and it will tomorrow, bringing with it a lot of tropical moisture, so we will have some thunderstorms starting to pop as early as tomorrow morning, at least according to this computer model. And then by the afternoon, maybe some dry time, but look what's coming in for tomorrow night. Look at this wave of rain, moisture. So late tomorrow evening, in the overnight hours tomorrow night into Thursday, we could see heavy rain there, and that's something we're going to have to watch. There is a flooding threat as well, a localized flooding threat that we'll be watching. So this is what's happening here. Front becomes a warm front, moves north into Thursday, and then all that moisture slides north along that area of low pressure, which is that invest that they're watching. That becomes an area of low pressure, gets attached to that front. That all moves north. Drier air follows in for the southern areas here of Florida. So by the time we get into Thursday afternoon, Friday and Saturday, we'll have dry conditions. But this is where all the heaviest rain is going to fall. Pensacola, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, this area is dry. They need the rain, but it's going to be quite heavy there. As far as our area is concerned, maybe 1 to 2 inches possible. This takes us through Sunday, but of course tomorrow looks like that's going to be the rainiest day. Rain chances up to 70% tomorrow, really focusing on tomorrow night and then dropping by the time we get to Thursday afternoon. A lot of that rain moving out. We'll still have a chance for some sea breeze driven showers, but overall look at that by Saturday down to only 30% chance. And then the heat comes in. Record heat Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday with temperatures topping out in the lower 90s. Likely we're going to see some heat advisories. Then the cool air. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, cool air next week. So that's the payback for all the heat and the rain that we're going to be dealing with. Temperatures, overnight lows will be dropping into the mid 60s if we can get that front through. And of course the tropics watching this little invest now, 30% chance, but more than likely this is just going to be a rainmaker as it gets caught up with that frontal system. This is where the models want to take it. So here's your forecast. Highs tomorrow should top out around 90 degrees, and then we go into the heat. Record heat Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, lower chances for rain next week.
Cindy, thank you. Happening now, tens of thousands of Israeli troops are on the move as the country prepares for a possible ground operation. It is in response to the surprise attack launched by Hamas early Saturday morning. More destruction in Gaza following another barrage of airstrikes. This is video of the aftermath from the latest attack. And this is a look at the Western Wall in Jerusalem. You can see many gathered around praying as the sun goes down. Israelis have spent the day taking shelter in bunkers as air raid sirens have gone off around Tel Aviv. More than 1,600 people on both sides have been killed since the Hamas attacks on Israel began Saturday. In Washington, President Biden addressed the crisis in the Middle East.
You know, there are moments in this life, I mean this literally, when the pure, unadulterated evil is unleashed on this world. The people of Israel lived through one such moment this weekend. The bloody hands of the terrorist organization Hamas, a group whose stated purpose for being is to kill Jews. This was an act of sheer evil. More than 1,000 civilians slaughtered, not just killed, slaughtered in Israel. among them at least 14 American citizens killed.
The Biden administration confirms at least 14 Americans are among the dead. The State Department says Secretary Blinken will travel to Israel this week to show support. We just heard from the president and remarks on the chaos in the Middle East. As far as resources, lawmakers and the president are pushing for more aid to Israel, but the House can't do much without a speaker. So what more support is there from Washington?
Well, good afternoon. We know that, according to the administration, some military assistance is already on the way, even though, as you mentioned, the U.S. Congress, especially the House of Representatives, is right now kind of ground to a halt. But the president has promised to surge military ammunition, also missile interceptors to replenish the Iron Dome in Israel. And a senior defense official, again, said that some of that was already on planes that have taken off in terms of some of the munitions that the U.S. is assisting with. We also know that the U.S. is sharing intelligence and special operators, particularly to help with those hostage recovery efforts. The president confirming that U.S. citizens are among those being held hostage by Hamas. We just actually learned from the administration that 20 or more Americans are missing. It's unclear how many of those are hostages. But again, we know that there's a lot of resources in terms of experts and intelligence that are being coordinated with Israeli counterparts. And again, this will continue. The president making clear that when Congress does return, he will ask for more assistance. We'll have to wait and see how long it takes for the U.S. Capitol to get in order. But lawmakers there have also expressed a sense that the speaker situation has to get resolved in light of this new crisis.
Natalie Brand reporting from Washington, D.C. Thank you for that report. And we'll have more on the crisis in the Middle East when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Here in South Florida, a number of groups are gathering to show support for Israel. Earlier today, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis made a stop at the Shoal of Bell Harbor. CBS News Miami's Jacqueline Quinn has the details.
The sanctions that the governor is calling for right now target one specific country, and that's Iran, as we see in this flyer that was passed out during the visit, and now he's calling for other states to follow suit.
This was, over the weekend, the largest number of Jewish civilians killed in a single day since the Holocaust.
Governor Ron DeSantis is sending a new message of support for those affected by the Hamas attacks Sunday.
It's important that we say, as Americans and as Floridians, we stand with the people of Israel and we stand with the state of Israel.
In light of the conflict, DeSantis blamed loosened sanctions against Iran for helping to fuel terrorism.
When Iran gets more money, they are not using it to make life better for the people of Iran. What they use it for is to fund terrorism throughout the Middle East and indeed throughout the world.
That's why he's now proposing legislation to strengthen sanctions against Iran that would block state and local governments from investing in Iranian businesses, including construction, technology, mining, shipping, or manufacturing.
There is a no two-state solution that we will ever accept. And if you are capitulating or providing a justification, you too are part of the problem.
The Israeli Consul General welcomes the governor's attempt to choke off money away from Iran and thus terrorists.
This is not a political conflict. This is not a territorial dispute. Forget about it. This is not even the opposite values or cultural differences. This is a war between light and darkness.
The proposal now makes its way to Tallahassee for passage, while some hold out hope that their loved ones in Israel will not be harmed.
But for me, keeping a positive mindset, I intentionally don't watch the videos or the pictures that are going around, because that's exactly what the terrorists want. They want us to be scared.
And that gentleman says that he is not afraid because there will be others to lean on in this community. And speaking of which, there will be other displays of support coming up later today, one at the Holocaust Memorial, another one in Hallandale Beach. For now, in Surfside, I'm Jacqueline Quinn, CBS News, Miami.
Earlier today, we also spoke to a member of the Americans for Justice in Palestine Action. She says she doesn't condone the attack by Hamas, but says the violence is the result of what she says is decades of oppression.
Unfortunately, what's occurred over the last few days has been more of a response than an attack. I don't believe that anybody can expect a population that has been besieged, occupied, brutalized, and colonized to remain docile in the face of nearly a century of brutal oppression and colonial subjugation. In fact, expecting them to remain a victim is unjust within itself.
She told us she doesn't recognize Hamas as the governing entity of Gaza, but says Hamas has controlled the territory for 16 years. That's the CBS News Miami Quickcast. I'm Najahe Sherman. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami.